Hey guys, what's up? It is Sukasa with Sucraft, and I'm back. Oh yeah, after a rather long hiatus, which I'll go into more detail about probably here in an upcoming channel news video. But today I'm here to talk to you about Elder Scrolls Online. Oh yeah, it's officially been released, and I've been playing it for a rather inordinate amount of time, actually, for the past week and a half or so. And so, Elder Scrolls Online. Is it any good? Is it worth your time? Well, after playing it for as long as I have, I can tell you that it is definitely worth it. Oh yeah, it is from an MMO fan's perspective, it is a solid game. From an Elder Scrolls fan perspective, it definitely does justice to the genre, or rather to the franchise, and is not just a cash-in, WoW clone. Which
What a relief!
Yeah,
I heard that
thank
the
you.
Lion
What a
Guard
relief.
has taken back Camelot.
I was very, very skeptical at first. I'm a huge Elder Scrolls fan. I have been since Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall back in like '98. Played all the games since then. Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. I even pre-ordered Skyrim and went and picked it up at midnight on the day of release. So that gives you an idea of how big of an Elder Scrolls fan I am. And once they announced that they were making an MMO of it, I was very skeptical. I was like, oh man, after seeing the disaster that was SWTOR, I was thinking, damn it, it's probably going to be like that. It's going to be another fucking WoW clone that is just a travesty. And after playing the beta, I couldn't talk about it, obviously, with the NDA, but after playing the beta, I was like, oh yeah, this is great. It is truly an Elder Scrolls game at its core, but yet is an MMO at its core, too. So they've actually, melded the two in a more than acceptable fashion. It is great. I mean, yeah, there have been a few minor concessions here and there to make it Elder Scrolls fit into, the MMO genre, but they're minor. It doesn't lose that Elder Scrolls feel. You really feel like you're playing an Elder Scrolls game at its core. I'm so overly impressed with this release as well. I've been playing MMOs since UO, back in the late 90s. Well, since MMOs came about with the advent of UO. So I've seen many, many, many launches. And I can tell you that I have never, ever, ever seen a company actually pull off a truly smooth, stable, and relatively bug-free release until now. I am blown away. I've been playing this every day since the early pre-release, which I pre-ordered, so you get to play for 5 days before the official release. And I was up at 6 a.m. to nab all my character names as soon as the server came up. And that first day, I was fully expecting, like every other MMO I've ever played on day one, I was fully expecting server crashes, horrible lag, utterly broken quests that blocked my progress, and so on and so forth. I was expecting that. I was resigned to that being almost a 99% possibility, but instead, none of that happened. None of it. Yes, I did run across a few bugged quests here and there, but it didn't block my progress. They were never the main storyline quests. But yeah, there were a few bug quests that I wasn't able to finish that day. But to their credit, they've done 3 patches since since the release, and they have fixed like every bugged quest I've run across. They've fixed. Just the other day, I think it was like 2 days ago, they had a patch that in the patch notes I counted them 28 bugged quests that they fixed. All within like the first week. That is so incredibly impressive to me that they've identified and knocked out all those bugs that quickly. It's just mind-blowing to me. And again, all of those were minor quests, side quests that you could, oh well, it's bugged, I'll just have to come back to it later. And you go on about your way, and it doesn't block your progress, which I've seen happen with many, many games. And the server stability, mind-blowingly stable. I have had a few lag spikes here and there, but no server crashes at all. A very, 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 very small percentage of people have been experiencing random disconnects, but I firmly believe that that's more their ISP than the game itself. And, well, I hate to use the term ignorant because it sounds pejorative, but I think it's those people's ignorance about their router settings and ports settings and stuff like that. Again, I don't mean that disparagingly, but I think that's more has to do with it than the game itself, because it's a very tiny minority of people that are getting those random disconnects. And there was, again, a very, very small percentage of people had lost their bank to a bug. I know one guy in one of the guilds I'm in had that happen to him twice, but I think they've got it fixed with the patch that they did, and that was a super tiny minority. I mean, out of like literally a million people that are playing, it happened to like 50 people, so yeah. Anyway though, it's without a shadow of a doubt the most stable and the most bug-free, relatively bug-free releases I have ever seen. It is just mind-blowing to me. Anyway though, back to how's the game itself. Well, at its core, it's still, like I said, an Elder Scrolls game. So it's not tab targeting. It's not tab targeting like WoW. I heard many people claim, oh, it's just gonna be a WoW clone, and I was again very skeptical of that. But once I played it in the beta, I was able to see this is definitely not a WoW clone. They've stuck with the manual aiming aspect, action sort of combat that the Elder Scrolls is known for. However, I should state that it is not pure manual aiming. It's not overly precise. In Oblivion or Skyrim or even Darkfall, which is a PvP-focused MMO, it's very, very particular. I mean, if your crosshair is just minorly over the guy's shoulder or whatever, you're gonna miss. It's not like that here, though. It's much more like Terra was with its action combat. So long as you're mostly moused over the guy, it's gonna highlight him, and that's it. I mean, your crosshairs can be slightly off of them, which I think is the better way to do it. It's more fun, and it's less frustrating, but it still gives you that manual aiming feel. They've also have a what do you call it? An active dodge system similar to Guild Wars 2. But I don't mean to hate on people that like Guild Wars 2, but I feel that Guild Wars 2 was a game with a lot of great ideas that utterly failed to deliver on pretty much every single one of them. Whereas here, it's taken some of those good ideas and just flown with them and not failed at all. So there is active dodging. If you double tap in a direction, you will dodge in that direction, and you can see my little green stamina bar there. It takes away your stamina to do that. But so it's got that, and you can right-click to block, much like Elder Scrolls games. And switch over. I got sword and board here, so you see you can right-click to block an attack, you can dodge out of the way of it, and with the manual aiming and all that, it makes it a very fluid action sort of combat that's very enjoyable. I think some people have been hating on it, but I think those are the people that just want another WoW clone. It's a very small minority. Overall, the combat is very smooth and well done, and it's not overly simplistic, really. Though, there's always room for improvement, you know? I'm not a tank, by the way. I am a healer. So I'm in light armor.